Namaste viewers, welcome to Gnanadevula channel. Today we will go through the 30th Sutra from the Vibhuti-pada of Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Let us try to understand this sutra in detail, what it exactly means and then how it is relevant and many other things about this sutra. The sutra goes like this: nabhi-chakre kaya-vyuha-jnanam. Nabhi means navel, this navel part, the front center of the abdomen. Chakre, in the chakra, that is energy wheel or subtle center. Kaya means body, gross and subtle body. This is kaya. Vyuha, that means arrangement of this body, arrangement, layout, pattern of this body. Jnanam is knowledge, seeing, understanding, things like that. So literally it means from Samyama on the navel chakra, on this navel chakra comes knowledge of the body's arrangement. This is the gist of this sutra. It's a very short sutra, but very profound meaning. Let us go through in detail. But before we go to that, I request you to please like, share and then subscribe to my channel. Please go through the content completely and then post your comments in the comment box. This sutra says, if a yogi, if a sadhaka applies deep integrated meditation, that is what is called as Samyama, on this point of navel chakra, the yogi gains an inner knowledge of the body, how this body is made from, formed, how the organs and subtle channels are arranged, internal organs are arranged, where disease may arise, then what the lifespan or capacity of that body is, and how it can best help the progress of the soul's journey, or the Atma, how it can help. It's a kind of a practical inward vision of bodily structure. It's not anatomical dissection. It's not anatomy, human anatomy, like dissecting and then seeing what it is and all those things. It's not that. With some scalpel, they dissect and then see that. But a living map seen from within. Now, let us try and understand how this knowledge is obtained. Stepwise, let us try. See here, choose the object. Here the object is navel chakra, that is nabhi. Nabhi is also called as Manipura. In the chakras, it is called as Manipura chakra. Now the next step is dharana. You fix attention steadily on the navel point. That is visualization, then tactile sense, or some kind of a subtle flame. Dharana, then dhyana. Let attention flow uninterruptedly into that center. Breathe gently and keep the mind open pointed or one pointed. Keep the mind open and then pointed towards this navel chakra. Then samadhi. Samadhi is the merging. Dharana, dhyana, samadhi. The observer and the observed. Draw very close. The observer here is the person, the yogi. The yogi's inner awareness. Then it rests in the chakra itself. This is the process of that samadhi. So this is a technique. Thousands of years back, they had just implemented this. We can't just brush it aside, saying that it is all nonsense and nonsensical, and it doesn't have any sense. Because it was there, it was tested. Now, the next step is Samyama. This is an integrated practice. That is the combined hold of dharana, jhana and samadhi. Dharana plus jhana plus samadhi on the navel object produces a pure mode of cognition about the center and its relation to the whole body. So now, it's a classical claim. From this integrated inner seeing of this this navel point, the yogi perceives the body's vyuha. Vyuha means position. Vyuha, all things where they are all kept in the organs, subtle channels. The vyuha consists of this, organs, all heart, lungs, kidney, liver, all those things, intestines, organs, subtle channels, the nadis. The nadis, Nadi Vidya was very highly developed during those days. That is that, nadis. Then chakras, Manipura, Nahata, all those things, all this thing. Then pranic flows, how the jiva flows in the body. Then lifespan signs, how long this person can live, all those kinds of things. And disease tendencies, like kapha, vata, pitta. These are tridosha siddhanta in the Ayurveda. It is there, which is predominant. That gives some kind of a disease, the disease tendencies. And last but not least is the spiritual capacity for spiritual practice. These are all the things that the classicals this thing claims. Now there is always a doubt in the mind. Is this intuition? Is it imagination? Can it be verified? Is it a verifiable knowledge? Let us try to put it in a very clear and honest terms, about this. Primarily, it is first person, that is direct perception, a form of intuitive knowing. It is not the same method. The method is totally different as medical anatomy, which is done by observation and instruments. See, think of the medical anatomy on one side, where all observations, instruments you take, you cut the dead body and then see how the organs are placed and how they work and all those kinds of things. That is one method. This is against that. It is a kind of a first personal direct perception. So, how does this how does it have this parallel with the modern parlance? This is a kind of a heightened interoception and body scheme. Very highly skilled meditators gain very fine internal sensing, that is heartbeat, digestion, gut sensations, and they can notice patterns, how stress affects digestion. For example, like this they can see. It's a kind of a trained pattern recognition. Years of practice, that is on this Samyama on navel point, that can let inner models predict symptoms or tendencies before they are grossly visible. Here, there's some kind of altered state, vividness. In deep states, perceptions can be clearly vivid. Clearly, you can see them and felt as seeing internal structures. Now, on reliability, such inner knowledge can be reliable for a practitioner, useful for lifestyle, spiritual decisions, therapeutic suggestions, something like that. But it is not a substitute for modern medical diagnosis. You should not take that this is an alternative for this. It's not. It's not a substitute. Definitely not. So, but it can be treated as a valuable subjective information, potentially insightful, sometimes accurate, of course, but it has to be validated when stakes are high, like illness, surgery, and all those things. You cannot just say that, oh, can through this method we can do that surgery, we can go ahead with. No, it's not a substitute for that. So the next aspect here is relation to the Manipura, nabhi-chakra. It is called as nabhi-chakra, Manipura, and Ayurveda. Manipura is the third major chakra, located around this navel, that is solar plexus region. It is associated with a bright fairy center, the city of jewels image, Manipura. If you Manipura means a city of jewels. That is the meaning of that Manipura. This is associated with fire, that is Tejas, Agni. That is the element here. The function is the inner digestive fire. In yoga tradition, it governs digestion, metabolism, energy transformation, willpower, and dynamic activity. All these things, it functions, it represents. Now, it has got some Ayurvedic link also. Ayurveda, which is the central concept of health, there, Agni is the central concept here. Digestive, metabolic fire, Jataragni, they call it Jatara Agni. It governs digestion, immunity, and transformation. Much of this Jataragni location and function corresponds experientially to the navel, that is solar plexus region. Now, there is one more thing known as dosha link, dosha siddhanta, tridosha. We all know that in the Ayurveda, Vata, Kapha, Pitta, they are the major doshas. Manipura is closely related to this Pitta dosha, the fire principle, and the Samana Vayu. Samana Vayu, Prana, Apana, Samana, Panchaprana, Samana Vayu. The subtle breath that governs assimilation. When Manipura, that is Agni, are balanced, good digestion, clear mind, strong will, all these things, it is all linked. When impaired, digestive issues, low energy, metabolic imbalance, all these things, result. There's some overlap of the Sutra claims that Samyama on the navel reveals the body's layout. This layout, dovetails with Ayurveda's emphasis on assessing Agni, digestion, signs in the abdomen, pulse, tongue, stool, all those things, whatever that is, to judge the health. A yogic inner sight of the navel area would yield practical clues about Agni, that is strong or whether it is strong or weak, digestive, Jatragni. Sites of pathology and overall capacity. These are all central to Ayurvedic diagnosis and treatment planning. So, practical yogic techniques which are connected to this Manipura and safety, some notes, will later thing is, Common practices that affect the navel, Manipura region is upper abdominal lock, Uddiyana Bandha, lifts and tones the abdominal region, used in Kriya, Hatha under Hatha Yoga. Of course, all these things are to be performed under guidance. There's one more thing known as Nauli. Nauli is abdominal churning. Abdominal, it strengthens the abdominal muscles, stimulates digestive fire, that is Jataragni. All these things are to be done under a very well trained teacher. Then Agnisara. Agnisara is another this thing where it is pumping the abdominal wall to stimulate Agni. Pumping, pumping the abdominal walls to stimulate this Jataragni. Then you have this Bhastrika and Kapalabhati, breath practices. It energizes prana and influences the solar plexus. All these things are to be done very cautiously and then under a trained teacher only. Then you have this directed visualization and Samyama. Visualizing a bright flame, lotus at the navel and holding attention gently for extended periods. So the safety precaution is do not practice advanced bandhas or forceful breathwork without a qualified teacher. Particularly pregnant women, people with heart diseases, hernia, high blood pressure, recent abdominal surgery, they all should avoid this. Avoid many of these techniques. Always balance inner exploration with common sense medical care. That is the advice. So now, how this is useful for the seeker? Inner knowledge of the navel chakra helps in refining diet, daily routine, dinacharya, and sadhana choices. What practices suits the body, where to focus, cure, and all those kinds of things. The practical uses. For health, it points towards signs of weak Agni, that is Jataragni when it is weak, and early tendencies to imbalance. So one can adopt Ayurvedic measures, that is diet, spices like ginger, cumin, turmeric, small warm meals, regular sleep, that pattern to correct those course for health benefits. Of course, for the spiritual work, knowing whether a body is fit for certain sadhanas, for example, celibacy, extended retreats, saves time and effort. As a classical commentary says, a yogi may guide someone towards a better birth or better preparation if liberation in this life is unlikely. This is how it is. It's for the yogi to decide. So the sutra describes an enhanced inward sensing produced by disciplined attention. Neuroscience would frame this as improved interoception, altered autonomic balance, that is vagal tone, and reorganization of body maps in the brain. This way the neurosciences can think. Such changes can produce useful, sometimes predictive insights about one's body. But these remain again subjective unless tested against clinical experiments and then measures. So, nabhi-chakre samyamat kaya-vyuha-jnanam. The samyama on the navel chakra comes knowledge of the body's layout. Manipura kendre agnehe samatvam jivitam spashtam bhavati. At the Manipura center, balance of the digestive fire clarifies life, health clarifies. Sadhana yuktaha yogi antardrishtihi drashtum samarthaha. A disciplined yogi can see inwardly through this focus on the navel point. So, some practical recommendations if you want to explore this sutra safely. Begin with gentle mindfulness of the navel, 5 to 10 minutes, breath awareness and simple pranayama under guidance only. For health issues, use Ayurveda, consult an Ayurvedic doctor, but complementary inner practices may help strengthen Agni and resilience. most importantly and most importantly is do not substitute yogic inner perception for medical diagnosis when serious illness is suspected. This is most important. So Patanjali Sutra says study deep attention at the navel reveals the living map of the body, a claim that fits both the ancient idea of Manipura, the seat of inner fire and will, and modern observations about how focused inner awareness and breath body practices change bodily sensing, digestive, and self, all those kinds of things. Viewers, with this detailed explanation on this sutra, we conclude this episode. I hope this was quite interesting and quite informative also. Please like, share, and then subscribe to my channel. Please post your comments in the comment box. After having gone through this entire, of course, this was quite a exhaustive, discussion on this. Once again, we request you to please like, share, and then subscribe to our channel. Thank you, viewers.